Hello, my name is Gina Van Rensselaer. This is the, I believe, sixth in our series of weekly podcasts with Ace Computers Vice President of Technology Solutions, Mark Furtick.
Hello.
Hello, Mark. Today we'll be discussing the future of desktops.
Interesting topic.
Very interesting. It's actually a very hot topic right now, surprisingly. So right now there are basically four types of data management devices: smartphones, tablets, laptops, and desktops. For a while it looked like desktops were getting squeezed out, but now it appears that this is not the case. Why is that?
What research is telling us, Gina, is that the average person is starting to carry 2 or 3 portable devices. But we are also noticing a very significant trend that as they shift more of their daily work to a tablet or an oversized smartphone or a smartphone with more features, they're finding less and less need to carry a 3, 4, 5 pound laptop. As a result, when they get back to their home or their office, they're often looking to work on a desktop that offers much more full feature capability, additional expansion, often multiple monitors, giving them more real estate to operate with. So there's clearly a distinction here between the way you work in a mobile mode and the way you work in a home base or an office mode.
I mean, if nothing else, it's just more comfortable to work on a desktop for most people.
I think the biggest issue for people that use desktops a lot during their day is multiple monitor support and the speed and processing power that you can get with a desktop.
Or just even a full-size keyboard.
Yes, but there are people like myself that work with laptops a lot that use external keyboards.
Okay. All right. Desktops have always been a staple in organizational settings, but with the meteoric growth of mobile in the last few years, it's almost as if stationary hubs in the form of desktops are becoming even more important. Why is that?
When you get to a stationary location, you often want to give your mobile a chance to recharge, or you are using it in a phone mode. And so the ability to transfer over to a desktop, even if it's a temporary workstation, especially with virtual desktop infrastructure, can be an enormous advantage. So you might be able to have the additional processing power of working off of a virtual desktop from a data center. In addition, you have the ability to have a lot larger access to storage. So if you're doing some database analysis, if you're working in big data, if you're working in any type of transactional analysis, financial analysis, you need the power and performance of a desktop or a workstation. If you're in an engineering mode, you're looking to do that drafting or that engineering design work on a much more powerful desktop rather than be limited to a laptop or certainly a tablet.
Okay. So 3 areas where desktops shine are processing power, ease of use, and the ability to use any monitor size. Please explain these distinct advantages and whether other devices will ever be able to compete in these areas.
Well, let's start with processing power. For those that aren't familiar with it, the processing power is directly related to the amount of wattage consumed, much like a hairdryer. I always use the hairdryer example. You cannot put a 1500 watt hairdryer into a laptop or a tablet because it physically will burn up the components. Desktops have the luxury of having extra fans, extra airflow cooling potential. They can run at much higher wattages. I don't want to say temperatures, but I will say wattages. And they have the ability, because they're typically running off wall current, to perform at a much higher level for much longer periods of time without risk of damaging the actual components in the computer. So the first thing on processing power, there's a huge difference. And I don't think you're going to see a dramatic change there. You're going to see excellent performance in mobility, but desktop and workstations will always be able to perform at a higher level. Also, a lot of the workstations are now dual processor, something it's not very common in a mobility area. Ease of use, your desktop allows you to work in whatever mode you want, and you can arrange your area, your base station, and I think that's a big feature for people, that they like to have their monitors at a certain angle, their keyboards and mice at certain angles. So there's an advantage there in that you can pre-plan your work environment. And finally, the ability to use any monitor size. I know personally, In my normal mode, I'm using a laptop, a desktop, and a total of 5 screens. I'm big on real estate. I think a lot of people, as they get used to multiple monitors, they really like it and enjoy it. We're seeing 2 and 3 monitor systems become much more common. In fact, just about every desktop you buy today is standard, will support 2 or 3 monitors without the addition of a discrete graphic card.
Huh, that's interesting. Okay. All right, we've already talked about all-in-one desktops, and I understand that they're growing in popularity right now. And how much influence do you think they've had over the desktop market in the last year?
I think it's a different market, but there is some overlap. I don't want to say cannibalization, because all-in-ones have now been around as a significant product for probably 5 years. We've seen some ups and downs in that market. They tend to be very popular in certain applications of call center, laboratory, library environments where you have very tight space.
You're talking about all-in-ones.
All-in-ones. So as soon as you get back into the desktops, if you don't have that space constraint, because somebody's working in a typical full-size cubicle, which could be, for this definition, as small as 40 square feet, but that would be considered a full-size cubicle, they don't have the issue of working with a traditional desktop, and they can really enjoy the additional processing power and expandability that it offers compared with an all-in-one. And the other key feature about all-in-ones is they're not typically designed to support a second monitor.
Okay. So where do you see the desktop market going in the next 5 years? Specifically, what niche do you think that they will have in the broader device market?
We're definitely seeing a resurgence in the desktop for the worker that is not constantly mobile. I think you're going to see that trend continue as people realize the benefit of having that base system, that expandable system, that system that's always sitting on the network, that's always got a significant amount of file storage and all the other features you get with desktops, especially the ability to run the really high performance software. And we're not even touching on the gaming market. But so there's clearly a trend that desktops aren't going anywhere. We just got back from Computex in Taipei, and one of the more fascinating trends in talking to the major motherboard manufacturers, the market hasn't changed. It's still 90 million units a year in traditional motherboards. And that's a huge market.
Worldwide.
That's a huge market. And we participate in that market. That's a core part of our business. It's not just the K through 12 desktop, but it's that office worker, that engineering workstation. There's a big market there, and we don't see it going anywhere anytime soon.
That's great. Is there anything else that you want to add?
I think the key feature when you're talking desktops is customization. The ability to get a system designed exactly to your needs, whether it's multiple monitor support, extra memory, extra hard drives, RAID support for data protection, or if you are building a unit that's designed to work in a virtual desktop mode with a data center interface, the desktop is still a great value for money, because so many of the key components of the desktop are very aggressively priced, and allow you to build an excellent system, often for significantly less than $1,000.
All right. Thank you, Mark. And we thank the listeners for joining us, and we hope you'll join us for our next podcast as well. Visit the Ace Computers website at www.acecomputers.com.